Hey, what's happening, you guys? Just wanted to talk real quick and do this video about, I want to talk to you about how you can actually find unstoppable motivation without having to motivate yourself all the time. This is something that I know it's something that, we all struggle with. Let's face it, we all struggle from time to time, or, maybe you struggle with it all the time and you just find that, you're trying all kinds of different things. You have goals that you have. Maybe you want to lose some weight. Maybe you want to, build some muscle, or maybe you want to, see your abs again, or, just whatever, have, a better physique, run a faster marathon time. We all have these goals, but yet, a lot of the times we get stuck and kind of end up struggling with motivation, right? So I think it's an important thing to talk about here. And I want to talk because I'm very serious about when I say about finding unstoppable motivation, and it's not just some pie in the sky positive thinking that I'm talking about. It's like, it's a serious thing here. And I've seen this happen time and time again. This has been, with myself, and, I'm going on 18 years having, worked with clients and training clients, and many of them struggled, with motivation. And so there's a lot that I've realized about, finding motivation and how do we do it? How do we stay motivated? And so I just want to share some of that with you in hopes that it'll kind of help you out here. So here's something that, to think about, and something that I've noticed in terms of motivation is that when we feel like we need motivation, when we're trying to find motivation, really the only time that we need to find motivation is when we're doing things that we really don't want to do. I mean, that's what it comes down to, because if we are doing things, when we're doing things that we really love to do, think of the things that you love to do, and I'm sure you don't have to really motivate yourself to do them, right? It's just kind of there because you love them, right? Your love is there. And when we're putting our love and our passion into things, you don't really have to sit there and find ways to, to motivate yourself and get yourself to do it, right? So it really comes off of when we're doing things that we, we feel we either don't enjoy them, we'd rather not do them, we don't want to, or we're doing things that we feel we have to do, and it's kind of like, with fitness goals, losing weight, or, it's, we try to make changes to our diet, and a lot of times, we're doing things with our diet that we'd rather not be doing, right? Or, it's trying to get to the gym enough because, obviously if, we're not working out enough, we're not consistent with that, then we're not going to get the results we want. But it doesn't, it doesn't change the fact that if we're doing something that we really don't enjoy, we're still going to struggle with the motivation, right? So, here's kind of the things, and there's three things here I'll talk about that really kill motivation. So, the more of these three things that you are experiencing right now, the more likely it is that you're struggling a lot with motivation. So, the first thing is sustainability. Okay. So when we're doing things that are unsustainable, right? That is, it's one of the biggest motivation killers because, let's face it, if we're doing things that we can't keep doing, then whatever results we get, it could be the latest diet. It could be, a workout program, but whatever results we get from it, if we can't sustain it, then what's going to happen? We're going to end up kind of backsliding, right? So what happens is that, we can't sustain what we're doing. So we end up, slipping up, right? We blow the diet, or we go good during the week, and then the weekend comes along and then we screw it all up, right? And then we get pissed off at ourselves and frustrated, or, anytime we fail to do the thing that we know we need to do, but if it's unsustainable, right, there's going to be times where we just fail to do it, and we become inconsistent, right? Inconsistency. So if you think about that, every time, when we keep slipping up, when we keep failing to do the things that we know we're supposed to do, and when we're inconsistent, these are things that they just kill motivation, right? And they make you start to feel bad about yourself. Maybe you get down, or you get depressed, or you get pissed off at yourself, right? And, when we have those kinds of, they're kind of negative feelings and emotions and thoughts, that's really, you're not going to be very fired up to do anything. You're really going to get it's just going to kill your motivation. So, if you're doing things that are unsustainable, that's number one. Number two is when we're doing things that are unenjoyable. So it's like I mentioned before, it doesn't matter if you think you have to do this to lose the weight, or you have to go to the gym this many times, or you have to do this workout or this diet, if you don't enjoy it, that you're not going to do it very long. We don't, unless we absolutely have to, right? For example, you could be working a job that, is stressing you out, burning you out, and wiping you out, and you might not want to do it, but the other option is, well, if I don't, work that job, then I'm not going to have a roof over my head, can't feed my family, and, we can't pay bills and things like that. That's different. But, if really, other than that, if we don't enjoy what we're doing, we're not going to do it very long. So, that's another thing. And then finally, when we're doing things that are unproductive, okay? So, and that comes down to results. So, there's nothing worse than putting all of your, your time and your effort and your energy into doing something, a workout, a diet, whatever it is that you're doing, and you're just not seeing results that you're happy with, or you're not seeing the results, you're not getting what you want. So, when that's happening, we just call it being, it's unproductive. What you're doing isn't producing the results you want, so it becomes unproductive. So, these are the three things. Things when we're doing things that are unsustainable, unenjoyable, and unproductive, the more of those that you are experiencing right now, the more likely it is that's why you're watching this video. So, the real thing then here is like, kind of, what do we do about it? So if these things are happening to you, or any of these things are happening to you, then kind of the question is, well, what do we do about it, right? Because we're not going to be motivated. And anytime you do find some way to motivate yourself, even though you're doing these three things, unsustainable, unenjoyable, unproductive, it's not going to last very long. So it's like you could just burn yourself out by always having to try to find ways to motivate yourself, right? So instead of that, it's kind of looking at it this way, that, and I'll say this, that, you don't need to find motivation, right? It's not something that you need to find. And I think that's one of the things that we tend to kind of tell ourselves, I need to find a way to motivate myself. I got to find motivation. I got to get myself motivated. And you really don't need to find it. Again, because if you have to find motivation, if you have to get yourself motivated, it's most likely that you're doing things you don't want to do. Okay? So instead of trying to find your motivation, it's going back to these three things I was saying. It really comes down to like asking yourself three questions, right? Sustainability, enjoyment, and productivity. Is what I'm doing sustainable? Is what I'm doing sustainable? And if you answered no, then all we got to do is kind of reverse engineer that, right? Find something that is sustainable for you, right? Because it makes no sense to do something that you can't keep doing, because it's going to lead to you slipping up, or it's going to lead to you failing to do the thing. Even though you know what to do, you still are going to have times where you don't do it. And that's probably going to be more often than you do, or, you're going to take 2 steps forward, then 2 steps back. You make progress, then you regress, then you become inconsistent, and then boom, it's all the negative thoughts and feelings and emotions and, and all that stuff, right? So find something that is sustainable. Ask yourself, that question, how can I make this sustainable, what I'm doing? Okay. Second is enjoyable, right? Is what I'm doing enjoyable? And if the answer is no, then how can I make this more enjoyable? Right? Come up with ways that you can do that. And then finally, productivity, right? Is what I'm doing productive? Is it producing the results that I want and that I'm really happy with? And again, if the answer is no, then ask yourself the question of, how or what can I do to produce the results that I want, or what can I do to make this more productive, right? And what you'll find is that, with these three kind of questions, or these three areas, right? Sustainability, enjoyment, and productivity, the more of these that you can answer yes to, what you'll find is that you will have a much easier time staying motivated. Does that mean you'll never, ever slip up or fall off track? No, because we're not perfect. We're freaking human, and that's what we do. But I think what you'll find is that, and this has been my experience in doing this for almost 18 years, but that the amount of times that you slip up and that you're inconsistent and that, all these, things that throw you off track, the amount of times that happens, it'll happen a lot less. You'll have a much easier time staying on track toward your goals, because you'll have the motivation to do it. in the drive in you to keep on keeping on. So it just makes it a lot easier. So that's about it. That's what I've got here today. I know this video's gone on a bit long, but those are kind of the key things. So, ask yourself those 3 questions and see how that goes for you. And then post up in the thread the answers to your 3 questions. Not necessarily the yes or no, but the ones that you answered no to, so leave a comment here and post it up, how you're going to make things more sustainable, more enjoyable, and more productive. All right, look forward to hearing what you guys come up with. And again, if you have any questions or comments, post them below. Feel free to let me know, and I'll be glad to try and help in another video or a post. All right, you guys take care. Have an awesome day and be unstoppable.